Hey there, friends, family, subscribers, and new viewers. My name is Shadow Phoenix, and welcome to episode 9 of the Vista View reboot series. What we are going to be working on today is our Main Street area, kind of a little village type thing. If you had watched any of the original series of Vista View, back when I was doing my Let's Build Project Park, I can't remember what I called it. But if you watched any of that, you may remember the original Main Street that I had on here. And one side was like buildings that I had done, and the other side was buildings from the workshop. I didn't want to do that this time, so we're basically starting almost completely fresh. This host side now is not going to be anything from the workshop. It's actually just stuff that I've created. And I found a few reference photos and things like that online of some stuff that I wanted to do. And, basically going to try to recreate those and put all of these different pictures and stuff that I found together into one big long block, so to speak. And that's what we're kind of doing. So a few things that I found. This one, most of my reference photos are actually coming from, I search for Bavarian themes and different stuff comes up. This one, for example, is from Disney. Busch Gardens Williamsburg also has a lot of great photos. And then there's just like some certain cities and stuff like that that also have Bavarian buildings and themes and stuff to it. So that's where a lot of my ideas and stuff comes from. Is I just go online and I start searching and then just find things that I like and go from there. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. So we're building, actually, what I'm doing right now is just shaping. What I like to do is sometimes I will start with just a roof, other times I will start with the walls. In this case, I started with the walls first, and what we are doing is just kind of getting the shape of how I want the main street to kind of look. We have a little square area there, which will probably be like a little cafe area. That's also going to be the entrance to the other side of our village area there, where the Waltzer and stuff and the Fest House and all of that is. Originally, in my first design, I had done something like this on the other side of Main Street, on the left side, but I didn't do anything on the right side, and I always kind of wish I had. So this time around, I planned around it and found some great, references and stuff and things I could use to kind of get the idea that I wanted there. Kind of a gateway to the other side of the park. If you're on Main Street, I want the visitors to have multiple directions and stuff they can go at any time. I don't want to have them feel like they're trapped in one area. Now, the building that you're actually seeing me do right now was actually one of the hardest parts of this entire build because I really didn't have a clear idea. This one wasn't based on any kind of reference photo or anything like that. It was just me being like, ooh, I like these pieces. I want to use this. I would like a tower on the end of the street, so let's do a tower. And it ended up coming out a little too church-like for me, but eventually I guess it kind of does fix itself. But I haven't even really finished this building up. Even to this day, I've not even finished this building up. And yeah, so I imagine it is most likely some sort of restaurant or something like that. Maybe a gift shop. I don't really know exactly what it is, but it has so much of a church feel to it, and I'm not really fond of that. But again, like I said, I wanted to do something on the end of the street that was like a tower and something kind of alpine-ish, so I keep tweaking it to try to get it right, but it's still not done yet. But everything else on the main street, it turned out perfect, and I'm really proud of everything else that I did. Now, the problem with these videos is I tend to make my videos just a tad too long. This one runs in at more than 20 minutes, which I always have trouble trying to find things to talk about in things like this. This is me just trying to fix this building somewhat, and I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of this particular building here on the end of the street, and if you have any thoughts or ideas or reference photos or anything you can give me, let me know. If you like it, just say, hey, I love that building. I think it has potential, something like that. Just let me know what you think of this one building here. Everything else is finished, and once you guys see the finished product, which will be Not this episode. I'm not going to do any kind of thing at the end of this video that shows off what I built or anything just yet, because this was so much of progress and it took so many days to finish this main street that there's no way I could get it in one video and sit here and rant to you guys for an hour, because that's honestly how much footage it would take. It would take like an hour of footage at least to do all of Main Street down on just this one side. That's not even the left side. This is just the right side. All right, so let's kind of move on here. They're continuing a church theme. I put a bell in it because, hey, why not? You can kind of see it's starting to take shape, and it's kind of looking more like a shop or something. But I don't know. It still feels so church-like to me that it just bothers me, and I don't know how to fix it. None of my viewers liked it. Like I usually will build on Twitch, so self-promotion, guys. Check out my Twitch channel. I am on there every day of the week except for Sundays. Sometimes I'm on Sundays, sometimes I'm not. But I am actually not working again, so I think I'm going to try this whole full-time streamer thing for a couple of weeks. So I very much appreciate it if you guys, if you're watching this video, come and check me out on my Twitch channel every day from 5 p.m. till 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be streaming Planet Coaster. I might be streaming something other than Planet Coaster, but I do stream a lot of Planet Coaster because I play this game so much. I've got, like, last I checked was last night, 1,523 hours in the game. So that's quite a bit. So moving on from the building on the end of the street, we're going to take a look at the entrance to this street, and what this is based on is a building on Walt Disney World. I think it's Walt Disney World, and it is the Peter Pan flight. It's part of that complex. I found some photos of this and I really liked it, so I really wanted to kind of recreate something like that, and it turned out very similar, and I'm really happy with this building. Like, this is an awesome building when it gets done. What you see me building right now is kind of just an arched window kind of peeking out from the rest of the wall there. It looked okay, but I wasn't happy with it, so eventually I do change this, which you will see shortly. But what I am most proud of is just how this building actually came out, and you're going to see it turn from just these simple shapes that I just laid out the idea of what I wanted into just a beautiful creation, in my own personal opinion anyway. Working on this tower, so I wanted a clock tower on it, and I took the inspiration from the Peter Pan's flight and kind of made it my own. And I don't know, I think it turned out really well. Trying to figure out, these things. One thing I learned, actually, when I was building this, and I never really thought about it, was that the limestone is actually colorable. And I guess I just never thought that it was. I don't know, but I figured out, I was like, hey, wait a minute. If all the other walls are color, is the limestone colorable? So I tried it out, and I got some really cool, like, textures out of it, basically, that I thought would work great. So that's kind of where this is coming from there. And you can see I kind of made it like a reddish, kind of a brownish red, and it really worked along with this, like, dark evergreen color. So, and then once you get those typical Bavarian beams and stuff around it, it just turns out it's oh my god, so great, basically. And I'm also really proud of the clock itself at the top of it too, because I had to do something really intricate with this, and I may go back and redo the roof on it. I'm not 100% sure. I may do some of those tricks and stuff like Silverette and others do, where they make their own roof out of, like, different pieces. When I was building this, I just kind of wanted to get the idea, the shape of it around it, and that's kind of what we worked with. Like I said, I will probably go back and do a custom roof on it and do like a spire, so I can get just the right look that I want without having to compromise. And that's pretty much what I ended up doing in this one, was just compromising on the actual roof of the clock. So yeah, that is really all I have to talk about. I cut a lot of stuff out of this video too, so you guys wouldn't actually have to see me like trying a bunch of things and then end up not working with it or anything. So here I am trying to fix this roof and try to figure it out, and I was like, you know what, we need a huge clock. And like I said, I wanted to do something very, very intricate for this, so I tried a few different things. I ended up going with the gingerbread icing because I thought the icing was going to get me the exact effect. I tried a couple other things first. Nothing was really, I mean, it looked good, but it just wasn't what I was looking for. And then once I figured out how to use the gingerbread icing to get the effect I wanted, then it did come out quite well. It's messy a little bit, yeah. And if you look at it close, it does just look like a jib-jab of like different icing pieces all mixed together. But from a distance or from the ground where most of the peeps and stuff are looking, you can't tell. It has this kind of, I don't even know what you would call this, but it has the shapes and stuff that I was really kind of wanting to get there. And I know you guys can't see it from here, but I mean, yeah, it did turn out really, really well, I thought. And this is what I kind of made. It just looks like a bowl of spaghetti noodles kind of all mixed together and like everything. So, but once the colors of everything is kind of comes together and the roof color and the color of the pieces and everything are done just right, and you get the clock just right. Yeah, it's oh my god, so great. Yeah, and I hope you guys like this too, because I really, really, really was happy with how this actually came out. And this is me biding time and ranting through a 20-minute long video. So basically, yeah, what I did was I just I copied those around, and then I needed to figure out something for the beams on the side. So I took these little fairy tale accent pieces and I topped them one on top of the other and like turned one downwards, turn one upwards, and put them on. And then I copied all of those around on each side of it as well. Kind of kept trying to repaint the pieces of the wall there to get the right color. It looks a little pinkish, which I don't know. It might kind of work. I don't remember if I actually ended up keeping this pinkish color. I think I did though, just because it was just like different. Colors are something that I have a lot of work to. Not a lot of work, but colors are something I spend a lot of time on. Just yesterday when I was streaming, I literally spent an hour, maybe an hour and a half of my stream trying to figure out what color to paint some different walls of this new entrance and stuff that I was working on. And, you know, even my like viewers and stuff, they were suggesting things, and we tried a bunch of things. In the end, I wasn't 100% happy with it, but it did turn out great. And I do that so many times. Anybody who watches my stream will know that when it comes to like the point where I start picking colors, then that's when things like really slow down, because I'm so bad at just like, well, that's good, but can we do better? Well, that's better, but can we do better than that? Okay, well, no, that's worse. So let's go back to what we had originally. I don't know. I still think we can do better. That's just how my mind works, and it is trying to get the colors and stuff right. I'm just I don't want to say perfectionist, because I'm actually not, because I will get to a point where I'm just like, you know what, that's good enough. Let's just go with it, because I end up spending so much time on just the little details that it's hard to move on and start doing other things. So eventually I'm just like, that works. You know, let's leave it alone. I don't know if I'm going to get any better than that. And yeah, that's just kind of how my mind works, and it's a pain, it's a curse, so to speak. But I mean, in the end, I think you guys you really appreciate all the effort and stuff that I do put into my buildings and stuff like that, and just all of my creations, because I really think of this as like a form of art, so to speak, like building these. I wanted to be an architect when I was in like high school. I was mostly into art, and then like my senior year, I guess I just decided, you know what, I want to try architect. So I took some classes. We had like a vocational school there, and they taught drafting, and then so I took the drafting class, and ended up not really doing architecture at all. They ended up not being able to teach it. They just wasn't going to have enough time. So, but luckily I had a great teacher for vocational for drafting, and at the end of the year for our projects, which we had to hand in, he let me kind of design my own house, kind of like my dream house and stuff. And I still actually, to this day, that was like 23, 24, 25 years ago, I would say. And to this day, I still have those actual blueprints that I did of that house stored away somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where they are, but I do know I still have them. So it's kind of cool. But that was the plan. I wanted to do that. And unfortunately, there were no local schools or anything that kind of taught architecture, so I was just like, oh, I got to figure out something else. So I ended up going into graphic design. That was what I majored in college. And that didn't really work out for me either. It was just, I don't know. I just ended up deciding, you know what, this isn't going to take me anywhere. So I switched over to communications. And anyway, yeah, that's story time with Phoenix today. Back to the building. As you can see, a few things that I've kind of done is I've added these arches underneath of it, and then I also I layered the actual building. If you noticed, I put like one layer is like further back than the next layer up, and then the next layer up after that for the roof is just like kind of comes out, it sticks out more. So it's like a 3-layer building, which I was just experimenting with, and it ended up coming out really, really well. I also decided to turn the foundation, the main like first story of it, into this like brick kind of stone work thing. I figured that would be stronger and would support more of the actual building, and it ended up just really just looking better, all in all. Another thing I ended up doing was, like with the arches down there that I put in, and you see I changed the window as well. I did have some trouble trying to figure out how to do these windows, but I do think they come out really, really well. The arches, what I ended up doing with that is I actually enclosed that and I put doors. It's so the arches kind of lead into this like little foyer where the actual doors inside the building are. That came out excellent as well. Everything about this building just came out excellent. Just again, in my opinion, I really liked how this came out. I was just really, really happy with it in the end. And it took a little bit to try to get the idea in my head kind of to take form, and that's when it did, though. I mean, it turns out great, and all of my buildings are kind of like this. I will start out building like a basic shape, and you have to have patience with this game, because sometimes you start building something and you're just like, I don't know, this just really isn't, it's not getting the desired effect on. And then the more pieces and stuff you add to it, the better it actually starts to get. So I would recommend, if you are starting on a building and the building just it doesn't start to look right away like what you want, don't give up on it yet. Keep kind of working on it. You never know. I mean, even if you don't, you may end up building something that you kind of like, but it just may not be what you want for that specific thing that you're building it for. Save it, use it somewhere else. Just build up an inventory of buildings, and you will save yourself a ton of time later on, because you may later on be like, oh, that thing I built before would work perfect here. So save those things like that. There's no such thing as like a horrible building, really, that can't be fixed or saved in some way. So hold on to your designs. If you don't like it, you never know. Keep working on it. Don't give up on them. You can end up with an actual beautiful building. So, like I said, what you see here was this squarish, kind of L-shaped, weirdly shaped, flat, building made out of, just basic walls, turns into this very, very Bavarian, awesome looking German Swiss, I don't know, it's like an Alpine building. We'll call it Alpine, because that's what it is. That's what the whole theme of the park is. And that is my recommendation for you, for new players, things like that. That is my suggestion. Keep working on something. Even if you're not happy with it at first, it may turn into something that is what you are happy with. Happy accidents, as Bob Ross always said, and I end up with a ton of happy accidents. Most all of my creations actually come from that. It's just me experimenting around, playing around with things, and finding things that works. There's a lot of other Planet Coaster players out there who they pretty much know exactly what they're doing, and they build these like walls, and they build their own building sets basically, and then they just take these sets and they start constructing things with it. I myself don't do that. I build from the ground up and just keep adding to it until I get the desired effect I want. It's slower, but it works for me. And maybe it could work for you too. If you're trying one way and it's not working for you, try the other. You never know. So we are coming up on here the end of the video, and again, guys, this turned out excellent, I think, and I hope you guys liked this video so far. I will have part 2 of this up in a few days. Like I said, I'm not working again, so I'm going to spend all my time doing YouTube videos and doing like Twitch. So I'll spend like 5 hours a day on Twitch, and then the rest of my mornings before I start streaming doing things like this. Just working on my videos. So I'm going to try to get you a video a day if I can. And I know I've said that in the past, but I am determined to kind of turn this into a career of sorts and start working on this. But I'm going to take off. Thank you guys for joining me for this adventure in building our Main Street. I will see you guys in the next episode. Hey everyone, if you'd like to help support me and my channel, I have a Patreon page where you can do just that. You can pledge anything from $1 or more. Anyone who pledges $15 or more gets a unique, specially designed roller coaster and Planet Coaster made just for them. My little way of saying thanks. You can also just send donations as well if you don't want to join Patreon. And you can find those links in the video description below. Every tiny red cent I make from these means the world to me and is extremely helpful. If you're interested in my PC setup that I work with and play on that you see here, every piece of the system is described below with links to Amazon if you want to purchase them or anything else. Thanks for tuning in to my videos and my channel. If you aren't already a subscriber, click that on the screen below. And you can also check out a few of my other videos on the screen here as well. You can keep up to date on what's going on in my own little world via Twitter or watch me stream live on Twitch as well. Links are in the video description below. So wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night.